today's live session. So we have Jennifer Buckley here from Career Central to talk about how to prepare for next week's Careers Fair, which is happening next Tuesday, on the 14th of June, down at the Sports Hub next to Europe, Building 9. So it's happening between 10 o'clock to 2 p.m.
10 to 2. So yes, next Tuesday the 19th of March, 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock.
And basically today it's an informative session on how to make the most of your time down there and what type of questions to ask, and basically just how to best prepare yourself to make the most of your time next week at the Careers Fair, because it's only very few times during the session where you'll be able to have that opportunity to have face-to-face contact with prospective employers. So by attending today's session, it's a good first step in terms of preparing yourself and making sure that you already have that step forward when looking for jobs in the scary world out there. So I'll hand it over to Jennifer, and also with the feedback forms, I'll get you to fill it out at the end of it and just drop it on the table behind you there. And also, if you haven't registered at the table yet, just register at the end of it. But yeah, I'll leave it to Jennifer.
Thank you, Sean. Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Buckley from Careers Central here. I'm a careers counsellor at the university, but in a previous life I was involved in human resources and graduate recruitment and graduate development out in the corporate world. So I've been on the side of the employers where they're making an assessment and a judgment of potential employees for their company. So today I'm going to take you through some things to consider before next week's Careers Fair. Just some things that might be very logical, common sense to you, but hopefully you'll get a few tips as well to make you better organised. Now, I've got a few slides to go through, but what I want from you today is if you've got questions about you and your experience and your personal preparation and the companies that you want to see, by all means put up your hand and ask away. Okay, so well done on taking this step. I was just discussing with Sean before, I don't think I would have been so organised or so good when I was at uni and come along to the information sessions on Careers Fair, so that's great. Any questions before we start? Okay, as Sean mentioned, the annual Careers Fair, this is the big one for the year, is next Tuesday over at URAC. The employers will be coming Australia-wide, some from Canberra, some from Sydney and some from further afield. They'll be getting here from about 7 o'clock in the morning to set up. We're expecting anywhere from 60 to 80 employers to be on campus. They will be here for 4 hours coming to talk to you. Okay, this is their day out of the office, coming to speak to University of Wollongong students. So make the most of their time here, and the more prepared you are and the more research you do prior to the day, the more you'll get out of it. Can I just have a show of hand, who's final year students? Okay, for those who aren't final year, are you penultimate year students? Like means second to last year, final year is your last year, some of you. Careers fairs are a free event, doesn't cost you anything to come along. They are aimed primarily at final year students, but anyone can attend. So if this is not your final year, you can come along with looking at maybe to get information on vacation work, on looking for information about gaining work experience. So by all means go and speak to the employers, but really they're here to look at potential employees to commence work with them from January 2014. So the employers that are here, most of them will have graduate recruitment programs. That's where you go through an online recruitment process via their website. They take probably a couple of months to 3 months selection process, looking to find graduates to start with them for January 2014. So that's for final year students, but the rest of you, it's just good to do your homework on, you know, the companies that are out there, the variety of companies that are out there, maybe the sort of values and attributes and things that they're looking for in their potential employees. So not only will there be employers there, there'll be different employer association groups, things like companies or organisations like Employers Australia, Engineers Australia, or maybe, you know, Australian Human Resource Institute. Those are employer associations. CPA Australia, So those companies will be there. There'll also be some maybe volunteering companies and some, if you want to study abroad type organisations as well. The full list is available on our website. And Sean, do we have access to the website here too? Okay. Okay, so as I said, anyone can attend. It is for current students, so you need to bring your student ID card to register on the day. So I'm sorry, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends can't come. Past students can with their card, postgrads can. So bring your card to register on the day. And as I said, it starts at 10 o'clock and there's usually a great influx at that time, so that some of the queues can be pretty early at 10 o'clock. But register, you'll be given a map of the venue on the day. You can find out online, and we'll have a look soon at the type of companies that are there. So you might think, okay, I want to target these 5 employers. I'm going to do some research, found where they are on the map so I can go straight to them on the day, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. For vacation work, for those of you who are a penultimate year, we also have a spring careers fair later in the year, focusing primarily on vacation work, and we'll give you those dates at the end. International students, hands up if you're an international student. Okay. With international students, not everybody at the careers fair will be looking to you as a potential employee, okay? Because it could be a government department where they take Australian citizens, or it could be an organisation that takes Australian residents. But what we will have is, if you're an international student, there'll be a red balloon on that stand, and that will signify the companies that do recruit international students, so look out for them. And this book here, and we'll talk about these later, Graduate Opportunities, if you haven't got a copy of this book, go down to Careers Central, just down the bottom of the stairs here in Building 11, there's one especially for international students, and that will highlight all those companies that will employ international students from a graduate program. But look for the red balloon, go up and speak to them, and we'll cover more about that soon. Now, with international students, you might be an international student studying geology. There may be a lot of engineering or accounting firms out there looking to take international students that may not be looking to take geology students. So you need to find out by some research prior, are they interested in looking at students from your discipline? So you need to do a little bit of research prior. One thing we do ask, and what employers have said is a little bit annoying for them at the careers fair. You can imagine they don't just come to the University of Wollongong, they go over to Perth, they go to South Australia, they go everywhere. It's not a time to ask about sponsorship or visas, okay? So you can talk to them about their company, the type of people they employ, the type of roles they have on offer, but not, will you sponsor me? They can't make that decision on the spot. So we ask you not to ask about those sort of things. But with that, all of the employers at the careers fair are looking at or offer graduate programs, but that's not the only way to get a job in Australia, okay? Graduate programs are a very minute % of the actual opportunities out in the market. So look for those small companies, medium-sized organisations, and even though some companies might be big and large and international, for example, Citibank, they may have the brand that they don't need to put a grad program in place or come to a careers fair, but you should still look to their website for information. Okay, before we have a look at hands up who's been on the website for the careers fair to see what organisations are coming? Nobody. One person, thank you. I really recommend you go and have a look at the list, and we'll have a quick scroll through now, and that will tell you all of the organisations who will be at the careers fair with a link to their organisations, to their home webpage. So you can see whether, if you're studying education, well, that's great, here's this company here, are they looking for graduates like me? So you can do a bit of research and be prepared before you come. But if you have targeted some employers that you particularly want to speak to, at a minimum, you would have looked at their website. You'll know their opening and closing date for applications, and if anyone here is looking to apply in the financial services, some companies close their applications as early as next week. Some of these opened in January, and a few companies in the engineering field opened at the end of last year. So be familiar with their open dates, their close dates, and their application process. So you should know whether you need to submit a resume or a cover letter, or what grade average that company is interested in. I'm just going to try our luck and hold it. I'm just going to come out of here for a minute. Am I right, Sean's sitting down here? I guess as long as you can see the screen. We're just going into the Careers Central homepage, and it's all about the careers fair. And the information I'm giving you today is all listed on this page here. And if you see on the right-hand side here, there's a button that says Careers Fairs, and that will give you information on faculty-based careers fairs, such as education and health and behavioural sciences. But down here, there's photos from last year's event. But what should be of interest to you is who's attending. And this is a list of the companies. So you've got the name of the company, a link to their website, and then the disciplines they target. So if you're thinking, well, that's great, I'm a commerce student studying accounting, ABB Australia sound interesting. Sorry, they're only taking engineering students. That's part of their grad program. Any company, for example, would be looking at HR, accounting, finance type of their graduate program, but you could speak to them directly to say, well, how do you recruit for your corporate-based roles? So go through here, and this is all in alphabetical order, and let's see, there's 50 companies so far, and we usually have a great influx this week. So this should be a place that you start to do your research so you know who's at the careers fair. Let's go back down. And there's all tips and checklists and things in there as well. Okay, so you've visited their website, you think, yep, they're a company that I would like to approach. Now there's going to be more than one. You might only have a window of opportunity for an hour or 2 hours on the day, so you need to prioritise who you're going to visit first, because it's not just you that wants to speak to these people, it's going to be hundreds if not thousands of other students. So you need to just manage your time, maybe target those top 5 employers that you're interested in speaking to, do some research and have some pre-prepared questions that you might ask them about their company or the program that they have. And that will just help you fit everything in and make the most out of the day. All right, so it's the day of the careers fair. What are you going to wear? Now we do have some students that come along turned up in suit and tie. You don't have to, but as long as you're professionally dressed. First impressions count. A lot of companies will have lists of people that drop by their stand, and they might invite you to put their name on the list. These are people that they have identified that come across as smart, articulate, confident, and maybe the type of person that we like to recruit. So we're going to ask them to put their name on a list, and we will contact them, or we will give them our business card and invite them to contact us directly. It's not usually a place where you bring your resume and leave it with them and they're not actively recruiting for jobs. Some companies have listed positions vacant in the past, but usually it's a time where it's for you to get information from those employers. But still, you need to be professionally presented. So something we call smart casual. So no sort of, rude cartoons on your t-shirts or anything like that, but think about yourself and, are you presenting yourself in the way that you would like to be presented to the employer. Does anyone have any questions specifically on what to wear? So just think, are your shoes clean? Is your hair tidy? You don't have too outlandish jewellery. They know you're at university for the day, you've got classes to attend, but you should be in smart casual. And as I said, some people come along in suit and tie and do the full selling of themselves. That's okay too. So just present yourself professionally. Okay, so it starts at 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. As I said, these people might have travelled all around Australia. This might be the 5th careers fair that they've been to. They're pretty tired. When do you think your energy levels would be the highest? 10 to 12 or 12 to 2? Yeah, in the morning. So think of it from their perspective as well. So take the time, stand back if they're talking to people, be courteous, be polite, let others have their turn, and then make yourself known. Introduce yourself, shake the hand, introduce yourself. What are you going to say about you? Hi, I'm Mary and I want to know about your company. You know, it might be, hi, I'm Mary, I'm a final year Bachelor of Arts student majoring in Sociology and History, and I'm really interested in, the Westpac's, graduate development program, something like that. So think about how you're going to introduce yourself. So it might be that 30-second spiel about what you're studying, why you're studying, what you're studying. If you've got a good grade average, say that. If you've got a credit grade average or above, let them know. Why you're interested in working for them, show that you've done some research, at least looked at their website, and talk about the programs and what they've got to offer and why you think it would be a good match. Ask them questions, get them to talk about their company, their culture, what they look for in a graduate, what makes a successful graduate to them, what do they look for in their application forms and their written application forms. So it's a time to get information as well as sell yourself. Any questions? Yes?
Do we need to prepare a resume?
Look, people usually, it's not going to do any harm if you have it in your backpack with you. By all means take it. But most companies aren't going to ask you for it on the day or take it. They'll probably just take your name on a list. And when you go away, they might give you an asterisk or a little code that they have, because they're not going to remember everyone after a full day. Some might ask for your resumes, but it's not the norm, because usually their application process is online where you need to attach a resume. But there's no harm, I guess, in being prepared. But don't take it personally if they decline it or say we're not taking it, okay? Because you can imagine at the end of a careers fair, you've got a big stack of resumes from people that you have no idea who they are. So you can take it, but it's not necessary. Be enthusiastic, smile, be positive, be courteous, be polite, just be friendly. Eye contact, good handshake, smiley, happy face, and enthusiastic, and show that you've done research is probably the key things. Now, if you've done some research on them, it's probably equally as important to know yourself. So if you're approaching this company as a potential employee, what have you got to offer them? Why should they be interested in you compared to all of the other students at the careers fair? What have you got to offer? And it might be great grades, it could be good work experience, it could be that you've got good customer service skills and have developed a good customer service ethic. Again, look at their website, see what skills, competencies, values that they want, and bring that out in your talk to them. So know yourself, do some understanding for yourself. And geographically, know where that company is located. No point saying you want to work in the Sydney metro area when they're only based in Queensland and Western Australia. Okay, so make sure you know those sort of things. Be prepared for questions. You've got questions for them. They might have questions for you. Why do you want to work for us? So you better have an answer for that. Or how do we fit into your career plan? Where would you like to be in 3 years or 5 years? What do you have to offer our company? What would be your 3 key strengths? So they will ask you questions, and every company will have these pre-prepared questions that they might ask of you, and every company is going to be different. And when I say company, I mean government department, anyone that's there. But you asked about resumes, bring pen and paper to take notes, especially if you think I'm going to target these 5 people or 5 organisations. After you've met with that company, you might want to go away and say, look, they look for these 3 skills, or in their application process they value sporting inclusion, or they value any signs of leadership experience. So that might be something that you can then take back as part of your application process and feed that into your application. So, because you're not going to remember everything at the end of the day. Any questions? And you just thought you were going to turn up for free chocolates and a new pen, didn't you? You'll get that too. All right, so how do you stand out from the crowd? Okay, what's going to make you memorable? We talked about being enthusiastic, dressing well, dressing appropriately, smiling, making a good first impression. Show that you're interested in them and that you've actually targeted them and you're not just wandering up and down the aisles. Have some pre-prepared questions. It's okay to go along with your list. And it might even say at the top, Deloitte, I'm going to ask these 3 things, or KPMG, I'm going to ask these 3 things. They like to know that you've targeted them, so have some questions. And it could well be that you ask the same questions of each employer, but show that you've done some homework. Communicate clearly and confidently. The careers fair is in the sports hub. It's a big building, a big space, lots of noise. There's going to be thousands of students with, as I said, 60 to 80 employers, all with a stall, everyone handing out lollies and pens and papers, and everyone pushing and shoving and laughing and giggling with friends, and information sessions and ice cream's being given out and all sorts. You have to speak above that noise. You have to be heard. You'll be jostling with other people, that rude student right next to you who pushed their way in and you've been waiting there for 15 minutes already. You will experience all of that. So keep calm, keep positive, give yourself plenty of time to get around to see everyone, but just make sure give yourself the chance to be heard. So if you're a shy, quiet person who doesn't like to speak out or put themselves forward, I guess this is a good time for you to practice those networking skills and go and speak to somebody you don't know, talking about yourself, which is never easy, but a good environment to practice those sort of things. So get in there and get yourself heard without being rude and pushy. Employers are also always looking for a team fit. We talk about a cultural fit. That's a cultural fit for the organisation. Can I see this person here fitting into our team? Can I see them working with us? Would this person be a good team fit? So it's the way you conduct yourself, okay, and how you present yourself and what you offer that employer, okay? So enthusiasm, knowledge about the company, knowledge about yourself will help a lot there. And I guess when you walk away, again, a good handshake, smile, thank them for their time, say I look forward to hearing from you soon, or I look forward to putting in my application to whoever, and just leave a good impression, because they could be turning around, you're bringing your pen and paper to write notes too, they could be turning around to say, hey, Mary Jane, Bachelor of Science, final year, UOW, look out for that person's application. So, leave a positive impression. Any questions? Yes?
So it is worth going introducing yourself even though you've already applied?
Absolutely, because they could be, they'll just maybe mark you for looking for your application. So if you've submitted an application to that company already, go and tell them that you've done that. But you need to know with that is let's say the close date's coming, can you go back into your application and change it? Because some companies you can, right up to close date. Others, once you submit it, it's gone. But ask them those questions that you would have asked anyway. I'll just say, look, I've submitted my application for this role on whatever date. After speaking to so-and-so at the careers fair, I'd also like to add in support of my application that I've done this, this, this and this. That's absolutely fine. Make it succinct, well-written, grammatically correct, communication, all good. Yeah. At the careers fair, I'm just going to think. At the careers fair, the people that will be there most likely are representatives from the HR department, so human resources, and they'll recruit across all technical areas. Might be line managers, those managers who are recruiting a graduate for next year, who could well be your boss for next year. They'll also have recent graduates, and they usually try to have match their graduates for students from that university. So you'll see lots of University of Wollongong graduates. So ask them, how'd you fit in? What's the company like? Are you on a rotation or a fixed role? What sort of projects have you been involved in? What sort of development have you been given? How are you enjoying it? They're going to say all the right thing. If you ask the question like, would you recommend, this place is a good place to work? They're not going to say no. But yeah, so think that any questions you have are for HR, for line managers, and for recent graduates. Okay. All right, we've talked about how noisy and big and loud they can be. So don't leave things to the last minute. Get there as early as you can. Give yourself plenty of time to walk around, because you might have had a look online and thought, yep, I'll target these 5 companies. But when you get there, you might think, wow, I'd never heard of the department of whatever. That looks a pretty interesting place to be. I'll go and speak to them. So it will take more time than you think it will. Okay, so look at your timetable for next week. See what you're doing from 10 to 2 and where you are best placed to fit in. Yes, there'll be lots of good things on offer. By all means, take one. But you don't want to be memorable for all the wrong reasons. So don't be greedy. You will have carry bags, but don't go around with, I've got 5 ice creams and things like that. Everybody usually has little things on their table to entice you over to talk, but that doesn't entice you over just to grab and run. So just think about how you conduct yourself there. Mobile phones, turn them off, put them onto silent or something, because there's nothing worse than you've got your 2-minute chance with someone and your phone rings. Be polite, show that courteous, turn off your phone. The other thing is, yes, there'll be plenty of food on offer, but try to restrain from eating and talking at the same time. I've seen students there eating an ice cream. It just shows no respect, that the employers are there, they're not eating while they're talking to you, they're there in their suit for the day and taking time to speak to you, so show them their respect back and show them that you're really interested in them. We've talked about dressing appropriately. You're representing yourself in the university, so just do yourself proud and don't do anything that you'll regret. And most people don't, but it is an overwhelming, noisy, busy day. So just give yourself plenty of time to get around to all those people that you want to see. Now, the other thing that we have besides the careers fairs, and there's some more that are coming up, is we have employer information sessions, and they're usually conducted around this time, and there will be lots coming up in the next few weeks. Even if let's say there was an employer information session given by an IT company, you're not studying IT, but you might be wanting to go to an engineering firm, no harm in getting along to these information sessions, because they'll all give you tips on resume writing. How do you conduct yourself in an interview? How do you put a good punchy cover letter together? So look out for the information sessions for the various employers. Absolutely go to the ones that are most relevant to you. But if you've got the time and can spare it, come along to these lunchtime information sessions for other employers too, because it all gives an insight into companies. But future careers fairs, has anyone heard of the Big Meet? This is a Sydney-based careers fair. It's on next Monday, the day before ours, and it's at the convention centre at Darling Harbour. So you've got a lot of companies, and I'll leave this over there for you to have a look at on your way out. But if you just Google the Big Meet, you'll see all the companies there. And so it's bigger and noisier and louder than ours because students from all universities go. But there could be some companies here that you're interested in that may not be at our careers fair, and some companies have decided not to do the university careers fair circuit. They'll just go to the Big Meet in each of the state capitals. So if you're available next Monday, I would recommend you go along to that. It's from midday until 4 p.m. So that's one careers fair. That's next Monday. Ours, the big one, is Tuesday next week. Then we have others. If you're in education or health sciences, you have specific faculty careers fairs in the middle of the year. And then the next one, if you are a second year student or even your first year, come to the Spring Careers Fair. Similar sort of employers to what we have at the annual careers fair, but smaller in size. Anyone have any questions on those careers fairs? All right, as I said right at the beginning, I'm from Careers Central, a careers counsellor. Don't be a stranger until the end of the year. Come and see us early. We can help you. We run workshops on resume writing, interview practice, addressing selection criteria, which you'll need to learn all about before you even put one finger on on the keyboard to answer your questions in your application process. We will look at your applications before you send them off and give you feedback on them. We won't write your answers for you, and we're not a typing pool to make them read even better than what you've produced, but we're there to give you advice and guidance on the best way you can address the application questions. When you get through to the assessment centres, psychological assessments, mock interviews, we can give you guidance on that as well. So we're located downstairs in this building behind Rush 2 Coffee, and we run workshops on all aspects of the recruitment process and job search process, so come and see us. And we, as I said, review your resumes as well. Now, these books here, the Unigrad and the Graduate Opportunities, if you haven't picked up a copy of these, do so before the careers fair. I've got a few over there. If you miss out on one over there, come downstairs to us, and we've got them sitting in the Careers Central area there. The website I've got listed up there is leads you through to the Edge, which also gives advice on putting your resume together and addressing online applications and going through the whole selection process. So the main thing, and what this presentation is on today, is preparing yourself for the careers fair next Tuesday. So I hope that's given you some pointers and guidelines. Over there also is just a handout based on what I've said, but probably in more detail, and a checklist for the do's and don'ts for how do you conduct yourself at the careers fair, with some 25 or so questions that recommendations for questions that you could ask a potential employer. So come and grab one of those. Any questions? Who's going to come along next Tuesday? Who can't make it? Good, everyone can. I'll see you there. Good luck. And when you go through the actual application process, we're more than happy to help you downstairs. All right, thank you.